Monday morning, I am in the office. I'm heading over to clinic in about 20 minutes time. My morning so far has been mixed. There's been highs and then there's been lows. The high was having your own business and being self-employed. There are huge risks to it. But there's also a huge upside to it. And one of them was that this morning I got to go and watch my daughter at her sports day. She's only in reception, but it was nice to have the availability and the freedom to be able to go and do that without having to kind of seek, request or ask for permission to do it. I only had to ask myself whether that was possible. And that comes with a caveat. I did get up at 5 a.m. this morning to make up for the time that I would have lost through stepping out. So it's not all roses and whatever they say about the saying to do with happiness. But yeah, I did get to do that, which was really, really nice. I then had to go over to our Whetstone clinic. We had a bit of an issue outside there, which I needed to go and resolve. Have I resolved it? I'm not too sure. Time will tell. So yeah, I'll see how that goes over the next few weeks. I then had to follow up on an interview that I did on Friday and deliver some unfortunate news to the candidate that they won't be coming on board with us. I'm not going to go in the ins and outs of it, but the standard of what I was expecting, it didn't quite meet it. It's not to say it was poorly done. It just did not fall in line with what the expectations I have from us as a clinic. And they're really, really challenging conversations to have because in their eyes, they did everything right. And what makes me God as such, and that I get to determine whether someone can or can't be successful in the role that they do. I don't know if I'm explaining that well enough there, but yeah, they're never easy conversations to have, but nonetheless, they need to happen in order for us to maintain the progression and the trajectory that we're hopefully going on to becoming the top clinic in London. On my way to clinic now, I can see Gemma approaching as well. This is one of the handy things about living close to where you work at. Here she is. Wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm on my way to do my meeting. I'm meant to be meeting you later as well.
12:30, but you're meeting...
12. 12
12,
o'clock.
fine.
Yeah.
Can you come home for it?
Yeah, because I'm going to meet Tash and then meet with James.
Okay. There's no space up there, so I'm coming back.
I figured that, yeah. That's why I didn't drive as well. I figured everyone's going to be up there.
Yeah.
Fine.
Okay.
I'll see you in a bit.
I love you.
We shan't kiss for the camera. It's rude.
I love you.
Okay, I'm going to turn it off. Just catching up there with Gemma about my situation I had to deal with up at Whetstone. I was politely and respectfully asking someone to remove themselves from outside our shop. But I had to be fairly firm with my words, so we'll see if that makes a difference over the coming weeks. But I've got to go and do my meeting now with James and Tash, and I'll go back and catch up with Gemma in a bit as well. Just finished my meetings up at our Barnet clinic. All going well, which is good. We've got a good plan in place for our social media stuff and how we're going to approach that. Also spoke with Natasha doing the accounts. We are all up to date and in line with where we need to be at. So yeah, overall things are going well. Back in the home office, just about to go and meet the wonderful Gemma to find out exactly how all our operations are going. I'm excited. Right, on my way back to clinic, I have just finished up my meeting with Gemma, which all went well. Gave the kind of plan for this week with what we need to achieve. We've got this CQC registration happening, so we're trying to get all our documentation right for that. I then I've just done 2 screening interviews with some acupuncturists, and the great news is that they were both fantastic, so really, really excited about that. One of them actually is the teacher of one of our existing acupuncturist people, so they'll be a really, really good addition to the team if we can get them coming on board. So we're going to do some interviews with them over the coming weeks. And I'm just on my way back to clinic now for a meeting with a guy who owns a local sports team. They've got some pro athletes who play with them as well, so we're soon going to have a conversation, about how we might be able to support each other and work together on some future projects. Just got back to the home office, had my meeting with a local cricket team. We have partnered with them to provide on-site physiotherapy, and I'm hoping what it will enable us to do is to start that network of relationship building with members of the local community, which is what we want to do as a next stage of our development. Now, it's going to be me who's going down there to deliver the sessions. It will be on a slightly ad hoc basis. I did explain to them that with everything else that's happening within the business, very, very difficult for me to commit weekly to things like this. But what it will provide is an opportunity for us to touch base with many, many, many local individuals who we're able to influence and impact with positive injury advice or injury prevention, more importantly, and help get our name out there even more, because some of these people may not have thought about visiting us before or even considered having physiotherapy. And if we can have these regular touch points with them, it will help boost our own profile. It will help provide better care to those who live around us, and therefore hopefully create this lovely little ecosystem of good referrals, good reputation building, good care provided, which can only be positive for all of us involved, us and their cricket club as well. So super excited about it, and going to get to work now for organising some days and time for me to go and visit. Tuesday morning, I am on my way to a clinic. I've got to go and meet with one of our admin team who are setting up our new booking portal at the moment. Reflection at the moment, I am working on how we can improve our services, or widen our services, I should say. And this morning I spent a lot of time just going through different ways that I can network with people, how I'm going to reach out to them, how I'm going to try and connect to offer our services on a wider level. And the real trouble with it is I've spent probably 3 hours doing it now, and I don't feel like I've got anywhere. I know I have got somewhere, but it just doesn't feel like I've actually done anything. And that's the challenging thing. Like, you want to be being busy sometimes and just trying to turn the screw all the time, but there's times where you've got to kind of sit back a little bit and reflect and think, right, what are the small little differences I'm going to make today that are going to drive things forwards? And there's no end result of it as such, like sending letters out, sending emails out. People don't respond sometimes, so you can feel like you've wasted a lot of time, but the hope is that it's kind of getting our name out there a little bit more. And it's quite challenging to hold yourself back from trying to go and get involved in what the business is doing on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, that's a big thing I'm trying to develop at the moment, but hopefully this will be time well spent. Okay, just got into clinic, just about to meet with Marco to go over how we're doing with our new booking platform, and fingers crossed that's all going well. We've also had James in today, who's doing some filming, and here is all the kit we're using. Proper setup. Again, better than what I'm using here, so yeah, looking forward to seeing what he's working on a video at the moment for us to use for the main website, so looking forward to what that is going to come out as, and we'll be able to post that soon for everyone else to see. Tuesday afternoon. I am on my way to my evening clinic over in Colindale. I finished my meeting earlier on with our admin team about our new booking platform, and one of the key messages that got taken from there is a suggestion was made about what we could do in future to make rebooking easier, and the suggestion was that we could make people pay in advance before their appointment. So what normally happens is at the end of a initial physiotherapy assessment, your physiotherapist will recommend the number of sessions that are needed based upon the condition that you're suffering from. And one of the limitations we have on our new booking platform is that sometimes when you make a booking, an invoice is not immediately generated, and from a credit control situation that is a problem. And what we're relying on is our therapist being able to click the relevant buttons in order to confirm that the appointment is going to go ahead. Now, the suggestion was that we take payment for this at the moment of booking in order to ensure that we create the invoice. But the problem with that is we will have people who pay in advance and they will then cancel, and they will have to be refunded for the money that they have paid. So that creates an additional admin job in that sense. And then we're also going to have the potential of kickback from patients who do not want to pay in advance and will pay at the end of their treatment like they always have done. And the big thing, or the big takeaway for this, is that when making decisions for your business, always make sure that you are thinking of what makes the patient's life easier, or the customer's life easier, or the client's life easier, whatever you refer to it within your business. But the first trail of thought always must be what makes their life easier, not what makes our life easier. And in that particular situation, that was being created, or that process or system was being created to ultimately make our life easier, or that's how I felt it was anyway. I could be completely wrong. But because of that was why I decided that we're not going to go ahead with that particular system, because it didn't make sense in how it makes their life easier. It simply only made sense in how it makes our life easier. So yeah, that was the big takeaway from that particular meeting. A year ago, things felt highly chaotic. I had loads of ideas of where I wanted things to go, but I'm now starting to get a real clear picture on what I want it to look like. And yeah, that has come with time. And I'm saying this because if anyone out there is trying to do this themselves, of grow a business and get it to a certain stage, if you honestly think you're going to wake up one day and know it all, and you got another thing coming, I'm afraid. Tuesday evening, I am in our Colindale clinic. I had a little bit of a gap between my first set of patients, so I've just been spending a bit of time trying to work out a business model for what I want to apply to what we're doing now. One of them models I'm exploring is a membership model, and I'm trying to look at what other people do in other industry, especially from the dentist industry, and they seem to have it really well done because they're able to offer a low price point for the membership. And what I'm struggling to find out how to do is how we can apply a similar model with a similar pricing point. And it seems very difficult. I'm also looking at private GPs and how they do it as well. And it seems quite challenging from what their price point as well is, and how again we can apply that into what we're doing. But it's definitely a thing that I want to make sure that we do. And yeah, trying to use this time at the moment to find out the best methodology, I guess, to apply to it. To give you a quick update on my patients, I had a patient who I'm seeing who has got what we call a collapsed arch. Now, there's a professional term in the physiotherapy world for it, but what we've got to look at doing is trying to raise up that arch in order for him to stop the pain that he's feeling in his ankle. So I did some filming of him on the running machine upstairs, and it's very obvious. If you look at the video here of what's happening, you can see how the foot collapses in when he's on that running machine. And what we need to do is, first off, probably put some orthotic inner soles in there. He has some at the moment, but they're just not good enough or strong enough for what he is trying to achieve. So we're going to get some custom made ones done for that. So I'm going to do some training on that this week, I hope, for how to actually create and produce them with the company who we work with. So they're going to go through that with me. I'm then going to administer them to him, but then going to have a look at trying to refilm him with them in and see if it's made a difference. He also has a really specific rehab program to be doing at home, but there's a lot of work to do on that, and it's not a quick fix with that particular condition. So fingers crossed that will go well. I then had my other patient who has knee pain, been having it now for 8 years. He has tried injections and he was due to have another injection. He spoke to me and we discussed a program for him. He promised to give me 4 to 6 weeks for me to make a difference. And I'm delighted to say that it has made a difference, and he is making really good progress. He's now not going for the injection that he was due to have, and feels happy with how things are going. And hopefully the impact on him has been, it's going to change how he kind of lives his life now. And that's the power of the profession that we're in, and what I enjoy doing most, when we can make that difference to people, that it changes their life and it makes them more engaged or happy with what they're doing and managing their pain well. We had the discussion as well about how we can do the longer term plan with us. So he is going back to Nigeria next week. He has a business set up over there and he has a business here. So he goes back there for 6 weeks. And then he's going to come back in about 7 to 8 weeks for a checkup again. So I'm really trying to take that dentist model and apply it into physiotherapy of how we can stay on top of people and making sure they're making lots of continued progress. Wednesday morning, 7:15 a.m. I'm in the car. Today, busy day. I've got a CPD session to lead with the team first thing in the morning, and then we'll be having our managers meeting straight after that. I then have a interview to do later on this afternoon. I've got a meeting with a group of physios within a network I'm in, and we're going to talk about AI and how that can be integrated into our systems, but also knowing what the risks are within the system. So that's going to be quite an important 1 hour meeting, which I'm looking forward to attending today and finding out more on that. I've also got a meeting later on tonight at 7 p.m. This is to do with the property side of things. And I've got some things that I want to speak to the team about in that and get some feedback and advice on my next step in what I'm doing. So we've actually secured or agreed the purchase of another property. And again, it's all helping towards the ultimate goal of us getting our own commercial properties to operate out from. So again, this is another learning experience for me, where I'm going to have to go and raise the finance to be able to purchase it. I'm then going to have to go through the build process with it. I've got a builder who I'm using at the moment who is extremely good, but I also have the potential to have my own team of people who I know through my own network, and that kind of works in a different way. Obviously the cost will be slightly cheaper, but it would mean that I am having to project manage it myself a little bit, and I need to weigh that up with my time that I need to invest into the physio business and whether or not it's actually better off for me to have a contractor on site who is paid the additional fee to manage it, which is what we do at the moment. So I've got that to kind of work out tomorrow. I've actually got a meeting with them tomorrow, so I'm going to go down to their site and look at what they're doing in order to determine if that is the right kind of pathway for me as such. In all my years of being a physio, I have never had anyone come to me at point of wellness only. They've always come to me at point of what I would call sickness. And that doesn't mean that they're sick and heavily ill and things like that. It's more to do with no one has ever come to me not in pain. So they're always arriving in pain, and it might be minor pain, it might be big pain, and usually we resolve the pain, and then we often don't see them again after that because we've achieved the goal that they wanted, which was to be pain-free, because 2-3 weeks ago they weren't in any pain. But what we want to try and do with the GP service, and the point of this is that the whole NHS system is broken because we always see people at point of sickness. We very, very rarely see people at point of health. And if we could see people at point of health, then that would enable us to make better interventions, give better advice to stop people becoming sick later on down the line. So the GPs are really, really keen to promote that methodology of thinking as such. And I know that we as physios should be doing more of that as well. I still feel that we treat just the symptoms and get them better. And one of the things that we need to do within the business is actually encourage people to attend more regularly to see us so that we can check and make sure that everything that they're doing is correct, accurate, and in their best interests. It's actually a genuine ability here for us to make a big difference to people. So that's the update for today, and I will keep you posted as the day progresses. Thursday morning. Yesterday was a terrible, terrible day for filming. I had lots of plans in my head of what I was going to do, but ended up being so back-to-back with meetings and squeezing other meetings in, I didn't get a chance to film much. I'll give you a quick update on what yesterday was. So I went and led the first part of our internal CPD that we do with our staff members. And we actually did it on foot and ankle yesterday. And the second part was led by our nutritionist, Lauren. Now, they're super, super valuable exercises that we do as a business. And I know that other businesses do this as well. I constantly refer to Apple and how Apple, they do 45 minutes of training every single day with their floor staff, who then go and obviously meet and greet the customers and share the knowledge and advice that they have. So we really place a high value on that CPD, and it's something that we want to make sure that continues with what we're doing and making sure that we have it accessible to everyone. With the more and more staff we have, the harder it is to actually get everyone around at the same time to do. So did that. I then had a meeting with the external agency who do our Google ads, and we were just discussing about kind of what's working, what's not working at the moment, and whether or not the changes that we've made have been worthwhile. So the good news is that they are making a positive effect. We compared the first half of June versus the second half of June and looked at the results at one particular location. So we're going to continue with what that strategy is at the moment, which is good news. I'm glad it's working. I did an interview at 12 o'clock, and then I went straight from there into a network group that I'm a part of. So there's a group of physios who are all part of a big network group, and it's really good. We get to share ideas on what we're doing and the pros and cons. And this particular meeting was about the transfer over from an existing booking system to a new one. So there were some really good tips and tricks in there about what we're going to be looking at, or things that we need to be aware of. But that then led into an update from our website team, who wanted some information by a certain time frame. And what it's done is actually brought our time frame forwards. Because I had in my mind that we're going to be able to do it on a certain date, which is 27th of July. They actually want everything done by the 17th of July. So it's going to just increase a bit of pressure on everyone, because we now need to get certain things done in a much shorter time frame. But we need it because the draft version is done on the 27th. We're planning on going live on the 17th of August, and we have that time frame in between to kind of run through the website and look at it from a user experience, and then see whether or not there's any updates that we need to make. And yeah, so it does change timeframes a little bit, and is a bit of a pressure situation for everyone, but I'm sure that we'll all be able to cope with it and be fine with that bit. So I finished that meeting. I then had another interview which I squeezed in at 2 o'clock, and that interview was fine. I don't think we'll move forward with that particular candidate. They have lots and lots of experience, but their circumstances mean they're probably not going to be suited to the role. I then had another interview to do immediately after that with a new graduate, and unfortunately they just didn't have the skill set at the moment to be able to move through to the next stage of the interview process, which is a shame. They seemed like a really good person, but yeah, they just didn't have enough knowledge and experience yet to be able to come in and deliver the services or the standards that we need. I then had a meeting with our operations manager, Gemma, and we were just discussing the strategy moving forwards. The England game was on, so we watched some of that, and then I had a meeting again at 7 o'clock with the property group who I work with. So yeah, lots and lots of busy things happening yesterday, but I didn't get a chance to do the filming. Thursday afternoon, I'm back in clinic. I've got Gemma alongside me. Having a break, having lunch. It must be nice to have that in your life.
Stop it.
I'm just saying. We got Mom as well. She's having a break. Must be nice to have that break as well. I just got back from Potter's Bar, where I went and met the potential build team. That was all good. Really positive conversation. They were willing to kind of work with us on the terms that we want to do, which is good news. And I was hoping to come along to the admin CPD, but that's not happening because we've got some people off sick today, so haven't been able to kind of do that. But we've got a annual review, half-year review actually, for our clinic manager Amanda to attend at Whetstone later, and then just the general admin bits, which I'm going to go off and get on with now. I'll keep you updated. Thursday afternoon, I'm in the car. I have just finished our half-year review with our clinic manager Amanda. That all went really well. We hopefully have a really good strategy and plan in place for what we're going to do with supporting those who work with us, but also for how we're going to meet what the business needs are at the moment. So we had planned to meet for an hour. It went on for about an hour and 30 minutes, hour and 40 minutes. There's always a lot to talk about in these things, and working out how we best get the message across to everybody else so they're on board with what we're looking for. And that comes with high expectations, unfortunately, and having them high expectations is what sets us out, I believe, from everyone else. And yeah, making sure that managers understand what that looks like, how to deliver that message, and then obviously following through on it is really, really important. So Amanda was really receptive to it. She's doing an amazing job up there anyway, and I know that the therapists who are working there are very lucky to have her overseeing what she does. So yeah, fingers crossed that continues to go well. This afternoon I am going to be doing a bit more of my networking, where I'm trying to reach out to various companies, corporations, people to talk about how we can kind of work together. So I'm going to spend a bit of time doing that. Really, really happy with my meeting earlier with the build team, who I'm hopefully going to be getting on board to come work with us on the residential projects that we got happening. I need to actually speak to the estate agent to confirm everything with them. I've got a conversation with the broker tomorrow to go through the finance side of it, but from what I can see, everything looks fine. And given what we were speaking about earlier with the team I met, I'm really excited about doing the next one, and hopefully it's actually going to be a little bit less stressful, he says, than the existing one. But you never know. Sometimes when you take things down, you unravel things that you were hoping weren't there. But anyway, yeah, so far so good. Really happy with the progress that we're making on the residential projects. Happy with how the business is going, and it's sunny, so even more happy. Friday evening, 7:30 p.m. I haven't had a chance to film much today. I've been on home visits for the first part of the morning. I then had a meeting in clinic with Marco to talk about our new booking system. I then came back here, did some admin with regards to our new website, which is hopefully going to be launched very, very soon. Trying to get things like that sorted. Then updating all my notes, all of my rehab programs, doing some social media stuff. And yeah, being busy today, being really busy. The thing is though, I'm being busy without actually doing the things which I need to really be doing at the moment. One of the key things I'm trying to really, really focus on is that networking and building the connections we have externally. And I need to dedicate more time towards that. But I'm finding I'm having lots and lots of things happening at the moment, and it's taking my focus away from it. So next week, there's going to be a lot more focus on the networking, connecting with people, and making sure that we are growing our reputation externally and not just internally with our existing people. Got some really good stuff happening with our clinic managers at the moment, how they are working with the team, where we are trying to raise the standards even further than what they are at the moment. So I'm really, really excited about some of the stuff that I'm hearing that's happening there. Got a podiatrist job role out again. Still interviewing for that, still trying to find the right person to bring on. We've done interviews for it. We're just seeking that person who can come on and really shape the future of that service. So that's to come. Hopefully we're going to get some good news and updates on that very shortly. And that's the end of this week's vlog. I will see you all next week.